indulge in investments in Cameroon. We also are going to be looking at how easy and challenging it is for a diasporan to decide to venture into politicking in this nation. That is why we're talking this evening with a venture capitalist, a business magnate in Cameroon. We're talking about Mr. Nkeng Michael, who was the mayor for Muyuka Council. We are going to be discussing with him on this edition of The Point to tell us what motivated his coming back to Cameroon to engage in business and politics, as well as engaging in social works, assisting young Cameroonians not only in Muyuka subdivision but across Cameroon. We are going to be starting by first and foremost thanking you, Mr. Nkeng Michael, for accepting to receive us in your business complex out here in Boya, where we are to run this interview. We're glad to have you on The Point for the very first time. Now, Mr. Nkeng Michael, I'll start by asking you what motivated you are coming back to Cameroon and engaging in investments. I'm talking about our business. What motivated you are coming back to Cameroon for business?
Thank you for bringing up that specific item for this interview. As a young man growing up in Cameroon from an immigrant family, my parents could not afford to sponsor me after my primary school education. I stayed home for 4 years, and finally I wrote the common entrance into Government Technical College, Ombe, from where I graduated, went to Lycée Bileng, did 1 year, had my O levels, went to Cas Bambili, and went to the National Advanced School of Public Works. You see that all through it has been government sponsorship. And so when I had the opportunity in the US to do something for my population, because I don't think you show your largesse by going to give all money to the church. You show your largesse by trying to change the life of somebody. And so I thought it wise to invest back home as my own contribution to the building of this nation. And I think I don't have any regrets, despite the challenges. I think I will always thank government for what they did to me. To be where I am today, I can afford enough bread and butter on the table for my family. That notwithstanding, what little did I ever know one day that in the diaspora I will employ more than 300, 400, 500 Cameroonians, which directly or indirectly also have an impact on the economy of Cameroon because of what they send back home for their families. So, brief, the love for the nation is not to go on TV and express it. It is your actions, what you do in society, in your community, that speaks for itself.
While you were in the United States of America and you made up your mind to come back to Cameroon to engage in what we have seen all these years, how easy or difficult was it for you to start the process?
It depends on the type of investment. Now, you know, I had taken on the hotel and construction industry, which I mastered very well. And so I think administratively it wasn't that much, there was less bottlenecks in, for example, clearing my goods from the port and obtaining authorization to do, especially for the hotel. The difficulties were a little bit less as compared to somebody who did not know the system. You know, I worked in the system, so while I was coming back, I knew those challenges would be there, but equally look for a way to overcome it. And you see, let me be very honest and fair to you that 80–90% of the challenges we, the diaspora, face back home is not to come and invest. It's when you invest, who is going to manage the investment? I am very, very disappointed, Mr. Liu, what I see in Cameroon. You know, traveling is part of learning. And what I discovered over there was, if, take for example, a European, a white person, white American, accept that he wants to clean this floor, he will clean the floor in such a way that you will admire it. Mm-hmm. That is not what I find with us, the black people. So coming to invest is one thing, but most people who have invested here, they went back in ruins. How do you encourage them? I am still here because, as I said, I work in the system. There are certain challenges which I can overcome, but the one of employees is almost above me.
So if I get what you are saying, one of the major challenges that you are facing is not the capital or the investment per se, but the fact that it is difficult to get diligent, competent, and assiduous employees.
Honest employees to manage that investment. Mm. It is a very big challenge. But I'll give you an example. I was just on the phone this afternoon with one of my friends in the US, and she was telling me how she wanted to invest in Cameroon. She bought, I think, 3 trucks, bulldozer, excavators, and wanted to get into the quarry business, but she was ruined until now. She's selling everything. That particular business could have employed not less than 10–15 Cameroonians. As somebody, in the name of trying to assist, ruined this lady. The last camera, the last stroke that breaks her back was she gave 5.5 million for maintenance of those things. And when she came to Cameroon, she almost collapsed. She found her vehicles on the streets, abandoned on the roads. Now, Mr. Liu, this is somebody who have invested at least 100, 200, 300 million, and only for her to come and find everything in ruin. How do you start telling another person to come for the same investment? That is the major issue we have. Sometimes people keep blaming government. No, it is not government that has to be blamed for everything. Now, the part that government has to play is the labor laws. The labor laws are very, very challenging. How can you catch a thief who stole something from the company and there's nothing you can do? There's nothing you can do. And then labor still insists you should pay that person. I said, but what about stealing? So, oh no, you know, sometimes it is tempting. Now, where do we move from where we are? Is the $1 million question.
Now, is it an issue of attitude or that of competence?
Both. Now, competent, especially we, the English speaking, and which I will not lay blames on us, the system. You know, education has many facets. Classroom is one thing. The practicality is another thing. Where do we have the industry to train? They are non-existing. So how do you train after your college degree?
Okay, so the competence is not there.
It's not there.
We all know that you did not just come back to invest amongst the activities you've gotten yourself into. It's also politics. You came back, you got into creating this big complex that we are now running this interview in, but you also decided to venture into politics. So what motivated you are joining politics, and what brought you to wanting to become the mayor for Muyuka Council?
That's another very interesting question. You know, while I was on the ground carrying out this development, you see, during the 50th anniversary, I was very, very involved. Thanks to my elders, I can say, Governor Kalia, Minister Mwencho, they really encouraged me. And we did a fantastic job. After that, later on, Mr. Mwencho gave me the Esangele Aqua route, which we finished the job. And so now he said he wanted to compensate me. I've been working in the bushes for a long time. Let him give me something in town. So we won a contract in Douala for almost 7 billion. I signed the contract. I got to the plane. Before I arrived Washington, D.C., they told me that I've canceled the contract. I say, what for? They say, well, the companies were classified, and my company was classified as capable of executing jobs from 0 to 5 billion. I said, that's not true. That's not true. I rushed back here, launched a complaint in the Prime Minister's office, and before it was 30 days, it came an execute contract from 5 billion to 50 billion. But before then, they had already cancelled the contract and gave it to another person. You tell me, Mr. Liu, what's my encouragement there? Now, on the other question which you asked, what was it again?
Involvement in politics.
Okay, in politics. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so after the execution of the 5th anniversary, seeing my efforts, what I did, it was now time for the 2013 elections. And so, while I was still reflecting, because I had a meeting with my family, and my wife vehemently was against me entering into politics, that I am an honest person, and she knows that politicians are very dishonest, that she hoped I will not become dishonest one day. And I said, well, I don't know. So one day I was called by, I tell him that he's like a father to me, and said, Muyuka needs somebody to take care of. And I said, well, my trips out, in and out, will you know that? He said, no, I know who you are. Go and take Muyuka. And so that's how I got involved with the CPDM. During the 2000 campaign, we did a lot, because, I mean, there was some degree of distrust amongst the population and the ruling party. But we decided to do a lot of things together as a party, and we won the elections. When it came now to time to elect mayors, they came still with the same gymnastics. Luckily, Yaoundé was neutral. Okay. Yaoundé said, hey, councillors, vote who is going to be the mayor. And despite all what they tried, they could not succeed.
Are you saying that becoming a mayor was not also an easy task? Were you fought?
Of course! It's in politics. We have very serious challenges. Very, very serious. But at last we won. And when we won, again, when I met my mentor and said, this is the situation, those things are a little bit challenging. I'm very honest. I don't see what is awaiting me. And this is what he told me. Mayor, go. It's juicy. There are advantages. You don't need to steal the people's money. And that's how I did what I did in Muyuka. I'm a proud mayor. I left office with about 160 million in the bank, my predecessor. Go to Muyuka today. Is it there's a grandstand? Is it the new council office? Because I met a council office for 25 councillors who were 41. And I said, this cannot work. If we are those who deliberate to see about the development of Muyuka, they need to sit comfortable. And we fought until they built us a second building.
Yes, the building behind
yes, the grandstand, that thanks to me. The restaurant opposite the police is thanks to me. The old council building that was abandoned, dilapidated, I refurbished it. I don't want to talk about the 1 kilometer road in Muyuka, thanks to me. I don't want to talk about the mortuary. I don't talk about the culverts, the roads, the schools, the dispensary, the hospital, all what we did together for our population. Because you know, Moyoka is an aggregate population. They don't have elites like any other places. If you, the mayor, cannot talk on their behalf, you cannot act on their behalf, you expect a farmer who is in the Kata Muyenge to go to Yaoundé to request for electricity, for schools, for infrastructure for his children? No, you are the mayor. And that takes me to the point where you see, in everything you do in life, you have to be honest to yourself and do it with some degree of dedication. But once you are dedicated, you know what you are doing. Your chances of failure are very slim. There will be challenges in everything you do in life. Even when you are eating, sometimes you bite your tongue. It's challenging, but you are eating. So those challenges are always there in life. I think I enjoyed being the mayor of Moyoka, because when I go to Moyoka now, I see my achievements. Am I a happy man? Yes. The other day I went to Moyoka, went to Yoke, which is my base. I was going around my legs. I decided to keep my vehicle. Went around about 5 kilometers. For about since 2016, I have not seen so many of my population. Oh, they were coming. Oh, Mayor, Papa, where were you? I said, no, I am still around. The only situation is that we are having what we are having, the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest. It's draining some of us a lot, politicians. I lost a lot. I lost my D8, I lost my D7, I lost my grader, I lost my pickup, my offices. What error did I commit for me to get into that situation? Those things were not bought with government money. My money, which I bought and brought to come and invest, to come and help my people. It happened the way it happened. Am I an angry person? No. I stood for myself and I keep praying to God that what is really happening should be an awakening. Because we have been crying that the Northwesterners and the Southwesterners have been marginalized. Nobody wanted ever to listen to them. I hear today they are coming up with certain redress. Is it going to solve the problem? I don't think so. Okay. If you solve it, I will be the happiest person. I will be the happiest person. But again, we have to be honest to ourselves. You look at me on my eyes, I look at you on your eyes and said, this is where we went wrong.
Have to fix it.
Let us fix it together as a nation, and we move together. Because remember, we are sailing in a ship. We either sail to our destination or we sink.
Okay.
So the earlier all Cameroonians, not only government, because as I told you, our civil society, it seems as if they don't know what to do, how to do, especially our Francophone civil society. It is very, very unfortunate. But that's how they were trained, that's how they were brought up. But I think the earlier they see something good from we, the English speaking, the better. Because, as I earlier said, together, it is not only the Northwest and the Southwest who are suffering. No. Even there, over there, go to the North. I went to the North. I said, but at the end of the day, we are even better off here. So, the challenge is for all of us to sit down, come out with durable solutions that will help move this country forward.
Yeah, Mayor King, want us to stay in politics for a little while before we move to other things. Are you telling us you stay in the CPDM? What are you doing in the party as we speak? Do you hope to regain your position one day? What actually are you doing within the confines or the realms of the CPDM party today?
I am still in the CPDM. I make my contributions as usual. You see, I'm a businessman.
Okay.
And I am that person who I like to be honest with myself. And I did not see myself mixing. I tried mixing politics with business. I was overwhelmed. And so it's true that I wanted a second term to prepare somebody to take over from me.
Okay.
That was my plan. However, my adversaries thought that by them doing what they did and me letting go things, I was going to suffer. King Michael, God has blessed me. I will never tell you a lie. And so I decided to stay by the side and let them run it. Again, as I say, a builder is judged on the foot of a wall. I was just following Cameroon calling today how they have already spent 50% of the mandate. I want that after 100% of the mandate, they should show us what they did for the 5 years. You see, I'm so passionate about Muyoka. If you discover the last time I came here, I've been given, despite the fact that I'm not still the mayor, but I'm still a son of Muyoka. And that's why I keep thinking of them. I give food to IDPs. I just give stationaries to school children to go back to school. I'm doing that because of the love of my people of Muyoka. And as I told you that, to show how patriotic you are, it's not going to the radio or going to the church or going where and begin to sing hallelujah. No, we have to criticize ourselves.
When people hear about Mr. King Michael, the first thing that comes to their mind is Chariot. We have a whole complex. We have Chariot Construction. We have the hotel complex and a host of others. And I also understand that you venture into construction works, taking contracts. What actually are you into today? How can you situate Cameroonians to understand what you do today with respect to Chariot investments?
Yes. Called Biame. So we are involved. We have the hotel tourism, which with about 62 rooms. We have the construction sector. We are involved in construction of houses and construction of roads. And we equally has a quarry where we produce gravel used for construction. I'm equally involved in the timber sector, but there's a lot of challenges there. But as I told you, I like to take risks. I've not yet given up. I will do everything to see that I succeed. Once I start something, despite all the odds, I will do everything to get through it. So those are the 4 sectors in which we are, and as you rightly said, day to day, I think with the construction sector, we are stable because in order to win any contract in Cameroon, you have references. I think we've done so many jobs that we have references. The quarry sector is there. I started a new one. One major challenge is that we have in Cameroon, again, it goes back again to government with the private sector.
Okay.
When government start competing with the private sector, it doesn't make any sense. Government is government. Government is the father of everybody. Let government leave certain investments to the private sector. Let government only encourage the private sector, the private people to invest, create jobs, and let government facilitate access to loans. One of the greatest things killing Cameroonians that we don't have access to loans, Mr. Liu. They will tell you that, oh, they gave loans to people they do not pay back. You gave loan to who? If you are giving political loans out, how do you expect them to pay back? Or if you want to give somebody a loan of 100 million, the board sits down and say, okay, come and give us 20 million. The person will say, okay, no problem, I'll give you 20 million. He takes the money, he doesn't pay back. What are you going to do him? Sometimes here that they give assurance guarantee. They give fake land titles. And after that, hey, a bank declaring bad loan. So government has a very big role to play as far as to encourage businessmen to invest. And that banking is one major aspect of any investment. Because an investor doesn't want to take the risk alone. He wants to share that risk. And he shares it with the banking sector. Now, imagine I have a structure like this. This structure costs me about 3-4 billion. But if I go to the bank that I want $1 billion to invest, to reinvest, you see only the crisis, you see only the bottlenecks that will come out there. You ask yourself a question, what is really going on? Secondly, you see the COVID crisis. Mm-hmm. If I tell you that as of today that I'm talking to you, I have not received a dime from government, one dime from government, you think that I'm playing. But over there, if I tell you what they did to us, business people, you ask yourself a question, why am I still really struggling to come back home? Why?
You say it's not easy, and that is exactly the question many persons are asking. Why are you still here, despite all of what you've been going through? What are you still doing in Cameroon?
Well, I have all my friends here. I grew up here. I went to the US when I was 37 years. See, now I'm getting to 61. See, I spend most of my time here in Cameroon. And so I love my country. Despite all what I have over there, I still love Cameroon. And so I think I am preparing, I might retire in Cameroon. And so it is the love of the country. It is patriotism that made me to be doing what I do and to encourage others. Because I want to be honest with you, when I talk over there to our Cameroonian brothers and sisters, they listen. They take me as a sample, take me as a model.
Okay, you said some minutes ago that you were in Moyuka to assist young Cameroonians, especially through the provision of didactic material, but I also understand that you do a lot, not only in Moyuka subdivision, but across Cameroon. Can we know some of those who have benefited, some actions you've undertaken in the interest of Cameroonians, especially the underprivileged?
When we started, we had the Child Foundation. I sponsored more than 20 students. I have medical doctors, I have engineers. I don't even know them. The other day, I saw a young lady came. She was looking for the proprietor of Child. I said, you know, these periods are there are no good moments that you just identify yourself. I said, yeah, by the way, who are you? She said she was in the medical school, she will be graduating. I said, so why are you looking for the proprietor? She said, it's very personal. I said, okay, so how can I help you? She said, oh, she wanted to come and thank me. I sponsored her from Form 2. She will be graduating this year. I said, is that right? She said, yes. You are, okay. And again, all this came from, you know, when I went abroad, I had never consulted here since 1999. But I knew that if I come here, I spend 1 month, 2 months, if anything, I flew back to the US. But this time that I came, my friend Paul directed me to one doctor, Dr. Joe from Mekong. Mr. Leo, we have good doctors in Cameroon. This young man, what he did, I think I would recommend him to any other person. Try Joe from Mekong. I'm not advertising, but I'm just being honest of what he did to me, and I felt well. So the other day I read on the social media a director of a hospital saying patients should deposit 50,000 before they have access to the hospital. Where are we heading to, Mr. Liu? So other than that, you saw me the other day, I was giving books to my primary school children, to children in Moyoka for them to go back to school. I went to certain orphanage. I gave books, and I told them I wanted to. We are to enter into partnership for us to see the best 10, to sponsor the best 10 of them from where they are to where they will be. The only condition is their sponsorship should be in a government secondary school. The reason you ask me why, because I myself I passed through a government secondary school. So why should I go and be giving somebody 400, 500,000 when I can pay 50,000 for the person to acquire the same education? Instead, if I have 500,000, let me share it to 10 different students. The good ones, the good fruits will still come out of the government secondary school. So those are the humanitarian things that there are other lot of things. You see a blind man on the road, you give them money. You go to the hospital, you see a patient there, you give them money. I mean, to me, I feel happy when I do that. And if God has given you, you thank God for giving you. The question my son asked me was, why do you think God gave you what He is giving you? You think that you were the best in front of God, or you were the most intelligent? There's a reason which I and you don't know for giving what God gives to. Let me tell you something, Mr. Leo. The day you were born, you came out with something which only God can take it from you. It can be some of the moments in life, but only God can take it from you. Okay. If you were born to be a rich man, no matter what you face in life, the wealth will come when it is time. The only thing you have to is hard work, endurance, honesty, and humbleness. Because my father told me, you don't have an elder brother, you don't have an uncle who will go fetching for you, you will fetch for yourself. And the only thing that will make people to trust you is your character. You have to be humble. And that's why you see most places when I go, I don't want to be, I just like to pass. And when I've passed, then people say, that is Mr. Charles. I say, okay, I'm very happy that way. Because where do I want to start telling you my story, Mr. Leo?
Okay, are you a family man?
Of course, I'm married with 4 kids. And I think all that they are grown up except the last one. And I think I'm a very happily married person. I cannot complain. A very hardworking woman, because of her. They say in every home, every successful man, there's a woman who contributes. Because most of the time when I'm here, she's the one running the business back in the US. They call her Thatcher. I say, okay, if you call her Thatcher, what name do you give to me? They say you are Mr. King Michael, and I'm happy with that. So I think I don't have any complaint. As far as family-wise, I'm very happy, because you know, Mr. Leo, one thing is that and it's my mother-in-law who once said that. He said, my son-in-law, I said yes. He said, you see, when people complain about marriage, it's just like if you go to the market to go and want to go and buy plantains. And instead of going where they sell plantains, you go where they sell cocoa and you buy do you think that you find plantains? No. So instead of buying the plantains, now you go and buy cocoa yams. And you come and it doesn't fit your aspiration, you start complaining. That's where trouble starts. If after the stressfulness of the day, you go back home, you cannot rest, then you know that you fell in the wrong hands. We should love our women. We should trust them. Equally, we should do the same to our men. Because the challenges for a man and a woman are different. But what our women bear, that we do, we cannot bear 1/10 of it. So we always have to give them glory. We always have to praise them. And once you understand your wife understands you.
That's all. We want to say we are very grateful, Mr. King Michael, for opening your doors to the team of The Point all the way from My Media Prime TV for this sit down and talking to us. Many persons were already wondering where you were, and surely are going to be very, very happy to have heard from you, and knowing that you are doing very well, very optimistic, with so many plans to move this nation ahead, especially your lovely people of Muyuka subdivision. I know they are expecting a lot from you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Leo.
We are immensely grateful for this interview. We want to also thank you all who took time off to watch this edition of The Point on My Media Prime. We also thank the production team for the pains to move all the way from Douala to Boya for the production of this program. Christian, thank you, and to the entire My Media Prime team. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.